Well, it's coming along. Hey everyone, welcome back to Patriot Ridge Farm. So I just need to pull this soil frame out of here, and we're pretty much done with the layout of this. Obviously, we built an arch here out of a cattle panel, a 16-foot cattle panel that originally we were going to do pole beans on and let them just grow right up and arch over, but my wife had mislabeled pole beans and bush beans and ended up sprouting bush beans. So so instead of planting bush beans here, we went ahead and just put the cucumbers here. We'll let them trellis up. The bush beans are down there on that panel, and then there's a couple pepper plants there. There's some more pepper plants, all different varieties of peppers. We're doing Hungarian wax, we're doing jalapenos, oh my god, hot cherry peppers, bell peppers, Ashvarsky, and we got a couple hot plants of habanero and scorpion butch. I think they're in this mix here. And then down here we got some strawberry plants, all this right through here. We got some basil and some oregano planted in here. Got some marigolds in here with this row of tomatoes, and some basil and some oregano as well. Those are kind of deterrents for different types of pests. We've got various types of tomatoes here, all heirloom varieties. We've got slicers, we've got canners, we've got I think 3 or 4 different varieties of paste, like Roma, Amish paste, Jersey Devil. God, I can't remember all the ones that she's planted. And then we've got some more over here, along with some other peppers down that way. So, we're real happy with the layout. Everything seems to have come together. Of course, by next year, all these wood chips will be composted down. So if we want to do wider rows, we can basically just kind of pull this up into the existing rows and make our rows wider. But I think we're all right where we're at. Got about 5 different tomato plants here that look like they were kind of struggling, so we just potted them in some good fresh compost. They seem to be recovering. Got some zucchini here and here, and I got to finish cleaning this out of here. And this side, this is my drip irrigation kit. Get all this stuff out of here. I was just hooking up the trailer there. I was going to go down and get my 16-foot 6x6s and bring them up here so I can square this off to there. And the same thing over here. And then the plan is this weekend to start working on my drip irrigation system. Right now we're just using the sprinkler head out in the middle. It's doing what we need it to do for now. It's not something we want to continue to do because you don't want to water most of your plants from the top down, but it's working okay for now. The French drain is done and covered all the way around. I just need to cut the excess length off the end of the pipe there on the other side of the greenhouse. I've almost got all this bank raked out with the wood chips. I had to go down and get a few more loads last night, and I dumped it up here. I just got to finish raking this out. Then we're going to go through, push some wood chips out of the way, and we'll just make mounds with compost and stuff, and plant our melons and our squash and everything else that we're going to plant out here like that, and then just pull the wood chips back up around them. That way it'll give them a good start. This is all, of course, excavated clay base anyways. The wood chips will help keep the moisture in it. It will also help add nutrients to the clay, and the roots will be able to penetrate, through the compost into the soil and get this soil stabilized as we move forward. So we just decided we was going to take the whole bank. There was a hump right here with an old dead mulberry tree. I just took it out, just took the whole thing out, and I figured we'd just use the whole bank. Our progress has been interrupted by some pretty significant storms that we've had here. I want to say just this past weekend, I can't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday, Friday, Saturday or Sunday, we had a storm come through. We had 60-mile-an-hour winds. We had rain like I hadn't seen in a long time. It flooded, my whole hollow flooded like I've not seen it before. I've seen it flooded, but not like it was on this one. I mean, just so much water in such a short period of time. Had multiple trees down on my farm road out across the property. I had to go out yesterday with the big tractor and get them out of the way. I used the big brush mower on the boom mower and cut back a bunch of the stuff, the viney stuff that had tangled up and had, broke off and everything with the trees. So, and then I brought some more of these wood chips up here. So we've had to make adjustments and changes as we've moved along. you know, working a full-time job and trying to keep up with your farm duties, trying to get your projects done. The chores are nothing. The chores are easy to do. I can have my chores done in 30 minutes or less. But it's when we get into these projects that we're trying to finish out, and then you get storms like that, and then this bank ended up so daggone wet and muddy. Of course, you just figured a bare clay bank, as slick and nasty as that was. And it took 3 days with no rain for that to even get dried out enough to where I could pull the tractor down and dump the stuff on it, because you just take off sliding. So now we go from over the weekend. So we had 3 days in a row. First morning it was 38 degrees. Next morning it was 40 degrees. Next morning it was 42 degrees. And the hottest it got all those days was just in the mid 60s. Now yesterday it was 94 degrees on my north facing porch. And today it's 86 degrees on my north facing porch, and it's really humid and hot. We've got all that smoke here from the frickin' Canadian wildfires. You come out here. So you come out here, my eyes are burning, my nose is stuffy, and the air quality is just crap. I know I sound like I'm complaining, but truly I'm not. By the way, if you've made it this far in this video, hit that thumbs up button. Show me you were here. I can see all the views on it, but I like to see people interact on here. So leave me a comment. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, follow with us. And other than that, you know, we're still working at it. Lots of craziness still going on at the job. I know I said before I wasn't going to get into detail about that, because that one video I put out there about that, holy crap, that was a terrible storm in the comments. But people, you know, they just don't understand it. They hear what they hear on the news and think they're, you know, experts on it and everything. But work has become, you would think something as simple as returning to office. Now you got to understand, I've worked remotely for 11 years. I went remote before it was cool. And the reason they sent my program and a bunch of other programs home to work was because we didn't have the space. We have a very old facility, and they did not have the space, and they wanted to try to do a lot of remodeling and add some different services and stuff, which they did, and that required all of us to go home. So I mean, yeah, I could have said no, but why would I? But now it's return to office, and you've got, I think, over 200 to 300 people returning to a facility that they don't have the space for. Starting to get a little bit comfy in there, if you know what I mean. So, and there's, nobody knows anything. There seems to be no communication at any level, because nobody has an answer to anything. Whether they do or they really don't, I don't know. Maybe they do and they just don't want to share it, or maybe they really don't and nobody knows what's going on. But it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And you know, somebody kept referring to it as a circus, and I said, wait a minute. I said, don't insult the circus. I said, because even the clowns in the circus are organized. This is not. So it's gotten pretty crazy. And it's just going to continue to get interesting. A lot of other things going on, trying to get caught up. The kids are now out of school for the summer, and, you know, trying to juggle the child care through the day. Of course, now one kid's at his grandparents at my in-laws, and then my other one, she stays here and stays with my mom down at the bottom of the hill, and we pick her up when we come home. But it looks like for the majority of the summer, we're going to have weekend visitation with our own kids. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And my kids are not old enough to be staying home alone for that amount of time. It's okay if we, you know, need to run an errand or something, they decide they don't want to go. It's fine for that very short duration, because nobody's up here and nobody comes up here. But, you know, I'm not going to leave my kids home alone for... We leave at, 6:30 in the morning. We get home at 5 o'clock, so I'm not going to leave my kids home alone during that period of time, even with my mom living right at the bottom of the hill. But it's been a juggling act, and now that school's out, the cost of daily child care is $36 a day, just for 2 hours. Just for 2 hours, it was $36 a day. And I mean, you're 36. It adds up. It really does. Because when you get to the end of 5 days and you have to pay that week, well, guess where you're at? You're almost $200. And that's just for my kids to get off a bus and stay there for 2 hours until we get off work and get there to pick them up. So yeah, it's been some challenging issues to kind of deal with and try to juggle, but we're doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can, and, you know, try not to fall any more behind on what we're doing here. the farm is, we are applying for, or have applied for, the West Virginia Grown certification through the Department of Agriculture, which certifies us as West Virginia farmers growing and produce and raising animals, selling animals in West Virginia. Doesn't sound like a big deal to most people, but as a small farmer, or as a farmer in West Virginia, that extra little label on there that shows West Virginia Grown, people like that. People want to see that. And if you paid attention to the news here recently, they caught 2 Chinese nationals trying to smuggle in this fungus into the U.S., and they referred to it as agro-terrorism. Is we have that particular fungus in the U.S., and it affects like all your cereal crops. And not only does it affect your cereal crops, but any animals or humans that ingest it, it's very toxic to humans. It can kill you. It can give you liver failure. It can kill your animals and everything. So they caught those 2 trying to smuggle that in, but it was a different strain, had different resistant properties than what the fungus does in the U.S. So they charged them with agri-terrorism because there was, I guess, visa violations and everything else involved in it, false statements and all that other good stuff. So, you know, nothing to see here. Don't worry about the food recalls for the Salmonella, Listeria, and E. coli that we see almost on a weekly basis. Let's coin a new term, agro-terrorism, that's going to wipe out our crops and, you know, kill our animals and kill us. It's just stories like that I see that makes me more and more happy and convinces me more that we are doing the right thing and growing as much of our own food as we can, expanding our farm, raising our animals and everything, and doing our own processing. I have a guy coming tomorrow, the fencing of the farm. I'm never going to get it done. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'll make that statement. I'll never be able to get it done by myself. It's just not going to happen. With everything else going on and trying to do all the other stuff with the farm business here, even though that's part of it, I'm never going to be able to get it done. So the NRCS has the grant program available for the fencing, like we did for the high tunnel and the well, to where we pay for it up front and they come out and inspect it. If it's done to their specs, which it should be done to their specs, then they reimburse us that cost. So that's probably, depending on the price estimates that I get, I have one guy coming tomorrow and one guy coming Saturday. So based on the estimates that I get from them, and facing the reality of that, that's probably going to be the route that I go, because like I said, I can't do it. It's not going to get done if I'm the only one that has to do it. And the way that it stands right now, it would be just me. I have a couple friends who would come and help, but you know, they can't take time off work and time from their families to come and help me just for that kind of stuff, and I wouldn't expect them to anyways. So I am going to look at that for the future here. Still got some cleaning up to do after the storms and everything. Still got to weed eat. I hate to weed eat, but I'm going to have to. As much as I hate to even think about that, I still got to do it. But that's a whole day, by the way. If you've never been up here and see, you know, how big an area that I have to weed eat, including my fence line and everything that I have for the pigs, that's a whole day job, and it sucks. So we're struggling to keep up, but we're doing it. We are absolutely doing it, and you know, bar any injuries or anything like that, we'll see how things go, and I'll keep you guys posted on our progress here, and as things change a little bit, as we get the bank planted back here and get the other projects around the greenhouse done. Still a lot of stuff to plant. I've got a bunch of berry bushes I got to get in. I got a bunch of apple trees and other heirloom type variety stuff that we've got growing down there that we need to get transplanted up here in this area, all along the bottom of this bank. I still got to get the brush hog on both tractors and get this stuff cut. I need like 10 of me and a wealthy relative to leave me all their money, and then I can probably get it done. Anyways, I won't bore you guys with that anymore. Again, please, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to us. Hit that thumbs up button, leave us a comment. Get and stay prepared, stay free. God bless y'all.